I get eager scrolling through a dozen gaming laptop listings, each promising buttery-smooth 240Hz panels, ray-traced graphics, and a CPU that looks like it could launch a rocket. Then you read the fine print, and suddenly the excitement fizzles because you remember the last time a high-end laptop turned out to be a heavy brick that ran hot enough to fry an egg on the keyboard. That hesitation is real, and if you're not sure whether you're about to make a smart purchase or end up with a pricey paperweight, this review is going to walk you through exactly what the Lenovo Legion Pro 7i does in everyday gaming, work, and travel. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the Legion Pro 7i lands in the sweet spot of today's ultra-performance laptops. It's built around Intel's Core Ultra 9275HX, which is the top of the line for the latest 13th gen lineup, paired with an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5070 Ti. On paper that translates to being able to crank out high frame rates in demanding titles like Cyberpunk 2077 or Elden Ring while still handling creative workloads in Photoshop or Premiere. The 16-inch 2.5K OLED screen with a 240Hz refresh rate is one of the most striking parts of the package. In a side-by-side comparison with a typical 1080p IPS panel, you'll notice deeper blacks and richer colors that actually make HDR content feel more immersive. In practice, that means if you're playing a game that supports HDR, the difference is not just a marketing tagline, it's a visible lift in contrast that can help you spot enemies hiding in dark corners. Now, let's talk about what that power feels like when you actually sit down to game. I tried a 30-minute session of Valorant on high settings, and the frame rate hovered comfortably in the 170,190 frames per second range, which is well above the 144 Hz threshold most competitive monitors use. The RTX 5070 Ti's ray tracing cores were engaged in a quick test with control, and the game ran smoothly at 1080p with DLSS on, showing that the card can handle ray-traced workloads without throttling. The AI Engine Plus that Lenovo advertises claims to optimize power delivery and thermals in real time. What I noticed was that the laptop stayed around 75°C under sustained load, which is respectable for a machine pushing that much silicon. The Legion cold front cooling system, a mix of vapor chamber and dual fan design, kept the fan noise at a tolerable level around 40 dB so it didn't feel like a jet engine in a coffee shop. That said, there are hidden trade-offs that matter once you pull the plug and start using the laptop for everything else. The 1TB SSD is fast, but at 2TB you start to feel the price jump sharply, and the base configuration doesn't include an external drive bay. If you're the type who installs several large game libraries, you'll either need to manage space aggressively or add a pricey external SSD. The 32GB of DDR5 RAM is ample for gaming and most multitasking, but the laptop uses a dual-channel configuration that's not user-upgradable without opening the chassis. That's fine for most people, but if you're a modder who wants to push the memory to 64GB down the line, you'll be stuck. Port selection is another practical consideration. The Legion Pro 7i offers a mix of USB-C with Thunderbolt 4, a few USB-A ports, HDMI 2.1, and an Ethernet jack, which is a nice balance for a laptop this size. In a real-world scenario, I connected a 144 Hz external monitor via HDMI while keeping the laptop docked for streaming. The laptop handled the dual display workload without hiccup, and the Ethernet port gave a rock-solid connection for low-latency online play, small detail that many portable rigs overlook. Battery life is where the conversation gets honest. With the 99Wh battery, you can expect around 4 to 5 hours of mixed use, some gaming, some browsing, some video playback. That's not a full workday, but it's comparable to other high-performance laptops that prioritize performance over endurance. If you're planning to game on a coffee shop table without an outlet, you'll need to bring the charger and accept that you won't be getting the all-day battery promise that ultra-portables sometimes tout. So, who should actually buy this machine? The OLED display is especially valuable for creators who need accurate colors, and the 240 Hz refresh rate gives competitive gamers that extra edge. The inclusion of a 3-month PC GamePass subscription is a nice perk if you're new to the service or want to try out a bunch of titles without buying each one individually. On the flip side, if you're primarily looking for a lightweight travel laptop, the 2.8 kilograms weight and the relatively thick chassis might be a deal-breaker. Likewise, if you're a budget-conscious buyer who can settle for a 1080p 144Hz screen and a mid-range GPU, you'll find more cost-effective options that still deliver decent performance. The Legion Pro 7i is also not